we'll get started with a presentation that we put together to kind of structure our time together. Um, so the three current organizers of our user group right now are Gwen, Nicole, and myself. And let me just figure out how I can admit the people who are showing up in the hold on.
The security tab, you can disable the waiting room.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Give me just a second. Okay.
If there's lots of people still showing up, maybe we should.
I think we're good now.
Okay.
I think people should be able to just join now. Okay. Thank you for that. Yes, welcome to the first R user group meeting. We're the R user group at the Harvard Data Science Initiative. So very nice to meet all of you. I'm so happy with how many of you have taken the time to join today. I think this could be a really amazing organization for all of us to be part of. So first of all, I want to tell you that we have a website that you should definitely check out. There will be more information on it about our next meetings. There's some information about who we are and what our aims are. So that's rug@hdsi.org with dashes in between. So rug@hdsi.org. And from there, we would really like to encourage all of you to take our new user survey, which I'm going to go ahead and see if I can put that in the chat in a moment. But our new user survey will help us get to know who each of you are and give you an opportunity to share what you would like us to do for you, because we really want to find ways to give back to the not just the R community, but the people interested in R, people who don't use R yet, and at the same time, people who are really advanced R users. So wherever you fall on that spectrum, we really want to hear from you about what would be useful. And then we do need to pay homage to our institutional home, the Data Science Initiative. And so we really want to encourage, if you're at Harvard, the Harvard Data Science Initiative Slack is a great place to be. You should join it. You should check it out. There's people sharing interesting events and things like that there. So we want to encourage everyone to join the Harvard Data Science Initiative Slack. And we have a channel on there that's rug@HDSI. And so please feel free to reach out to us there too. Before we get too far into other matters, we just want to raise that we do have a code of conduct that's outlined on our website. And really it aims to make clear that we are completely intent to create an inclusive space that's safe for everyone involved. We will not be tolerating any harassment. And you can read our code of conduct on the website. And I'll give myself a little bit of an introduction. So nice to meet everyone. I'm Christian. I'm a statistical analyst at the Harvard School of Public Health. I work in the Department of Social and Behavioral Sciences with Professors Nancy Krieger and Jarvis Chen. And we study racial inequities in health outcomes. I use methods, statistical methods, including causal inference, geospatial statistics, and high performance computing to do these things. And I'll turn it over to Nicole.
Hi all, I'm from Tennessee, so I cannot break the y'all habit, so you'll probably hear it a lot if you stick around. I also work in the Harvard School of Public Health in the Global Health and Population Department with Dr. Nick Menzies. Currently, my research focuses primarily on mathematical models of tuberculosis, but a little bit of the COVID stuff mixed in there, both here in the US and abroad. More generally, though, I'm interested in like the history of medicine and like gender data biases and the comparative linguistics, specifically around scientific terminology. And so I actually use R in like all of those things. And so I'm really excited to network with more like social science people than health people. So, well, I'm interested in networking with everyone, but getting out of my niche from my school and meeting other people.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna Gwen. Oh, Gwen, you're muted.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Gwen. so excited to be here. I started a postdoc in at the Laboratory for Innovation Science at Harvard in September, and it's been really difficult because I don't really have the opportunity to get to meet many people, and so I messaged Kristen in March saying, actually I didn't message Kristen, I messaged the whole Harvard Data Science Initiative Slack saying, where is there an R user group? And there wasn't one. And so then Kristen said, let's start one. And so here we are 3 months later with all of you. So excited to be here. And I'm just like overwhelmed with like joy. So my research is I'm working on a project that we're calling right now delivering data differently. So a lot of times we tend to focus on presenting data using our visual senses, but of course our bodies are much more complicated than that. And so and not only that, but there's also an accessibility issue. So many people have visual restrictions, and so how is it possible for them to kind of experience data if visual senses are down and are not working? So there is a whole bunch of work that's kind of about displaying data, but a lot of that hasn't been connected to actual statistical languages, and so there's a missing link there. I'm also interested in something that people are calling right now data theater. So there's many different things you can be doing with data, and I feel like we're very limited. And not only are we very limited, but I think that part of perhaps the reason that's happening is because scientists aren't really reaching out the way that they need to everyone. And of course, vaccines only work if people take them, right? So if they don't trust scientists, then they're not going to believe in what we do. So I really care a lot about community-led research and reducing stigma. So we're looking at working with people who have convictions and sex workers and all these kinds of people, and trying to connect with them to figure out what kind of research do they feel is missing in the literature right now. So I am a member of a number of R-related groups. So I did my PhD at the University of Auckland. I don't know if anyone knows anything about how the University of Auckland is related to R. I'm just gonna wait and see if anyone unmutes themselves. It's kind of a quiz.
I think you'll have to tell them, Gwen.
So it's where R was invented, and I was actually looking.
Ross Ahaka and Robert Gentleman, right?
Absolutely. So I worked with Ross, and I worked with Thomas Lumley, and I was really lucky that I got to work with them. I really enjoy the language, and I really enjoy the people who code in the language. And actually we sent Robert Gentleman, who's now at Harvard. He started a bioconductor. And what was the name of it? There's another one, like Genomics or something like that. Anyway, but he's now at Harvard, and he has not signed in with his name. We will not ask him to put the camera on and introduce himself, and I'll applaud because he apparently isn't here. So I'm a member of a number of R-related groups. I'm just going to list a few, and I'm going to tell you that it's been an amazing opportunity. Yeah, Hadley Wickham did his master's with Ross Ahaka at the University of Auckland. So did his sister Charlotte. Actually, I don't know if his sister did his master's, but I know that Charlotte was also there. So anyway, and they're both Kiwis. So anyway, what was I going to say? I was going back to what did I, the R-related groups that I'm a part of. So there's a number of R-related groups in, so R is a language, but there's also this whole community built around it. And I'm involved in that community quite a bit. So there's R4Words, which is a task force, actually looked it up, a task force to increase diversity in the R community. And one of the big projects that we're doing right now is the R Core. So I don't know, our core team is a group of people who who are working. Our core team is a group of people who actually can change the coding of R. So they actually build the language, and they actually, you know, the language is always being updated and changed. People are finding bugs in the coding. And so the R core team, I think it's like 20 people or maybe 25, and then there's no diversity in that group at all. So we're working, there's a woman, her name's Saranjeet Kaur, she's in India, and she's working towards making that easier, because a lot of the people who work on R core, they just can very quickly update it. They know how to do it. But there's no instructions on how it is done and how to submit a bug and how to do all these things. So it's an interesting project. So the R Consortium is another umbrella group of the R community. The R Consortium, like people like R Studio, I think. I'm trying to remember who else, but there's all these people who, all these companies who give money to the R Consortium, and then the R Consortium kind of divvies it out. So you can submit a grant to, you know, if you're interested in something like, I'm not even sure what, you know, like perhaps you want to write about the history of R or something, then you submit a group, a grant to the R Consortium group. So the R Consortium, if they think that the grant is important enough or big enough, then they might start a working group. And so I'm part of the R Consortium Diversity and Inclusion Working Group that's run by Samantha Toet. She's also works at R Studio, and she's in Charlottesville. She's really, really nice. I should also say I've been organizing Our Ladies DC for probably 2.5 years. Maybe almost 3 years, 2 years and 9 months. And it's wonderful to kind of connect with the community there. There's also Minorities in R, which is a kind of an accessibility group. And one of the things that they're working on right now is Tidy Tuesday. Tweets don't have much alt text. So alt text is text for people who are visually impaired or have visual restrictions and cannot actually look at a plot. And so they're doing they're downloading, actually they downloaded all the Tidy Tuesday tweets to see what do these tweets look like? How easy is it for someone to read these if they don't have, if they have restricted sight, excuse me. So I want to say that being an organizer at Our Ladies DC has been a really incredible experience, because you get to be, there's an organizer Slack channel for Our Ladies DC. So you get to interact really regularly with people like Jenny Bryan and trying to think of Nene. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce her last name. I just won't even try. But anyway, there's many people that you get to interact with who know Erin Liddell, who was, I think she spoke at USAR last year. She was one of the keynotes. Amelia Macna, who was also a keynote. And so you have interactions with these people really regularly, and it's really amazing. Right. So that's kind of the benefits of organizing, because of course we're looking for more organizers, because there's only 3 of us now, and we would like to, you know, do a whole slew of things. So someone earlier mentioned that they were trying to move from SPSS to R. If anyone's ever done that, we would love to support you in putting together a group and helping you to meet. But right, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my journey in coding in the R, and working and in organizing and I guess, you know, you could call it leadership or whatever. But so I started organizing Our Ladies DC, I guess about in 2018, 3 years ago, and the other organizer was let me see if I can remember her name. Gosh, you know, if I don't write things down and then I try to speak in public and I don't have it in my brain, I just can't remember. But anyway, she's Kelly, that's her name, Kelly. So anyway, and Kelly was very busy, and she had just started a new position actually at Our Studio. And I just want to put this, add a little aside here, that I actually told her she had to apply for that position. She was a little nervous and didn't want to apply, but I was like, Kelly, you have to apply. Write me in 2 days and tell me that you've applied. So I'm really excited that she got that position. But right, so she had a new position. She could not go to this conference called Write Speak Code, and that's a really amazing conference too. It's also for women in tech, and so I went. It was an amazing experience, and then I got a new job, and I started my new job. And then the first kind of speaking, public speaking thing came in, and I was like, oh my goodness! And I was going to speak at Our Ladies Baltimore about my experience at Write Speak Code, and it was kind of scary because Roger Peng. I don't know if anyone knows Roger Peng. He's the one that does the podcast that I can't remember the name of either. But anyway, he was speaking there too, and I was really, really anxious and really, really nervous. And so this is one of the great things about having a network, is that I talked to several people about it, and I did this huge tricky thing of bringing a toy. And so I had this toy that I used, this is a Hoberman sphere, to talk the whole time, right? So I just want you to know that if you're scared of public speaking, and there are ways around it that you can do. And I was talking a little bit about imposter syndrome, and I was talking about breathing, and I was talking about, oh my goodness, I was so scared. And then I went, and then I shut down completely. And it was really, really fun to have a toy as a prop for my first, public speaking experience. So I just want you to know that there are definitely ways around these kinds of things. And so what I want to do right now is I'm just going to give us all a few seconds to slow down and breathe, especially because I need it more than anything. My goodness. And this toy is so mesmerizing too, isn't it?
Thank you, Gwen.
You're welcome. Okay. So anyway, that was my first experience. I went to speak at Our Ladies Baltimore at Hopkins, and I took a toy and I spoke, and I used the toy as a prop, and it was relevant to the talk that I was giving. Okay, so after that, I was doing some work at my job, and I was studying NLP, and of course we all know that NLP has a lot.
For those who aren't familiar, natural language processing.
Thank you, Kristen. I really appreciate that. So there's a great blog post. It's by Thomas Lumley, who was my PhD supervisor, and it's called "How to Build a Racist AI" or something like that. And it gives a sentiment, how positive or negative the word is, the wording, the sentence is, and it's really amazing. If you say, let's go eat at a Mexican restaurant, the sentiment compared to let's go eat at an Italian restaurant. So they're, and these are models that are built, and right. So that was my first talk at Hopkins, and then I ended up at Our Ladies Baltimore at Hopkins, and then I ended up doing a whole bunch of talks about algorithmic bias, and I just reached out to people that I knew in the R community, who were, where I could give a talk, and it was kind of scary and a little overwhelming. And then someone just messaged on the Our Ladies Slack that was like, oh, we're looking for someone to give a talk on algorithmic bias. Has anyone done this before? And I wrote back and was like, yeah, I've done a few of these. Oh my goodness, what is this? 2 days later, my first international keynote invitation for my first international keynote came in the email. I was totally terrified. I've never been through something so scary in my life. It was probably one of the scariest experiences because I didn't know. And of course, what did I do? I reached out to the Slack on Our Ladies, all the other people who were organizing Our Ladies. I messaged Jenny Bryan. She was in Sweden at like 3 o'clock in the morning there, and it was like, but I know she sleeps late. Like, I know she's up all night hours. And I messaged her and I was like, Jenny, what do I do? I don't know how to talk about money. I don't know. There's so many skills when you get an international, your first experience as an international keynote speaker that you have to have that I didn't have. So it was really, really amazing experience to have that and to do that. So other things that have been really, really amazing for me, and in terms of reaching out is I've learned, I've been a TA for several workshops, one at our studio conference last January, And then also when people come to DC, they tend to, I've worked with both Max Kuhn and Garrett Grolemund. So it's really, really, really wonderful to, yeah, to do that. Right. So yeah, I think we're looking for organizers, and I'm just going to add that we have decided that you know that you should be affiliated or at Harvard if you're going to be organizing with us. We are more than happy to help you organize an R user group wherever you are, but that we feel like if you're going to be organizing it at the HDSI R user group, that you should have some kind of affiliation or something here. So, my goodness, so that's my story.
Thank you, Gwen.
Now we can go on.
Thank you, Gwen. As you can tell, Nicole and I kind of are the ones that we were like suddenly in the mess of needing to write a lot of R code, and it was our jobs and everything like that. But once we found Gwen, we realized like, oh wow, she has a lot more network connection to the people who are big names in the R community, has a lot more experience with the networking and the organization, and we really can hopefully get this off the ground. So anyway, let's move forward. So in the next upcoming several minutes, we'd like to take some time to just talk about what are your interests in different like upcoming events. So in that survey that I mentioned, which let me go ahead and stop screen sharing and paste the link in the chat. And then let's see. Hold on, everyone. So if you wouldn't mind, please take this survey. And I'd really like to just have some discussion time around what people are interested in. And in order to facilitate that, I'd like us to do this Menti together. And so if you're not familiar with what Menti is, it's kind of an online platform to collaborate and submit answers to questions and do this collaboratively all live together. So I'll put this code in the chat as well. And you can also scan this QR code with your smartphone if you have one on hand. And let's put in some answers together for what people are interested in doing together. So I'll go ahead and put this in the chat so you all have it. And you just need to go to menti.com and open that up. And I will do so myself, and we can keep along with it together. And so there's two questions on here. I think the first is really just, what's your background and area of study? And so, you know, I'll just put for mine, I'm a statistical analyst, public health, and that's what I'll put for mine, but please be, you know, as specific as you want. And I think we should be able to see others show up. Did I do this wrong? I hope not. Are other people putting things in? If so, and I'm just not seeing them, maybe I have the wrong slide open. Let me try to pull it up. I'll be here. Okay,
so while
great. I got it. Sorry. Yeah.
You got it, Kristen. Terrific. I didn't think it would take.
Okay. Here are people's backgrounds so we can all see them together. Okay. So a lot of, okay. Medicine, entrepreneur, artist, consultant. I'm really curious about that. Molecular biology, deep learning, geophysics, linguistics, psychology. Wow, so varied. This is really exciting. Oh, cool. Engineering, business analytics, Data steward role at Mercedes-Benz. That's really cool. I want to hear more about that. Um, data mining, wildland firefighter, social science librarian, project manager. Wildland firefighter. That sounds really impressive. I'm really impressed by that. Clinical social worker. Wow, this is really cool. I'm glad we did this. I'm glad I figured it out too. Sociology, our beginner, that's totally fine. Yeah. So, I mean, on the topic of like people being beginners or advanced, I feel like probably we're going to start thinking about like how to accommodate different people's needs. Like some workshops will be more advanced and some workshops will be more, beginner oriented, and we'll have to figure out according to what everybody needs. What we're going to be doing next. Critical care, violence related injuries. Wow. Okay. So thank you all for answering. I really appreciate this. We're going to hold on to this data and I think maybe share it with you guys. So it's really nice to have all this data. Let's go to the next question if I can do that. Okay, yeah, so what would you like to do together as an R user group? Are you guys able to get to that question? So I mean,
Yes, I got there.
okay, great. Meet everyone. That's, yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of things we can do, and we can have intro to R workshops. We can have workshops on specific things like working with the tidyverse. We can do like geospatial stuff. We can do like debugging sessions if people feel like they need time to debug together. Lightning talks, yeah, we can do like show and tell. We can have, if we find some money, we can have free food if we do things in person. I know a few people are like, I mean, the graduate students especially, I always hear like could use some free food. Linear regression, yeah, like we can focus on like the statistics, parallel and GPU computing, yeah, Shiny apps, yeah. I haven't done a lot with Shiny apps, but I've worked with them and I've built some like, pretty professional Shiny apps that are out there. So I can definitely like bring what I have available to the table to talk about Shiny apps. Yep, data cleaning, analysis, visualization. Yeah, this point about approaches. Sometimes it's like there's a lot of ways to do things. Group projects, that's cool. Yeah, we could do group projects. I hadn't thought about that, but we could, come up with something to do together. Project showcase, R versus Python shootouts. That I want a whole lecture on that. Yeah, that I hadn't thought of that one either. That sounds great. Cloud computing, machine learning in R. Yeah. What is NLEP? Does anyone know? Okay, hackathon. We could have a hackathon. We could have boot camps. Yep. Oh yeah, how to build packages. That's a good one. Yeah, for sure. Finding research partners. That's, yeah. Using R with GitHub. That's something definitely we could give a little workshop on that. Okay, I think we've seen most of them. I think. Yeah. Okay. So let's get out of this. Thank you everyone for contributing to this. We really, really appreciate it. And let's see. And back to the slides. Yeah. So, I mean, to this end, we're asking you, what do you think we should do? I also think, if we can find willing candidates who are interesting lecturers, we would love to bring in guest lecturers. And one of the things I thought we might jump off some group discussion time is, who would you like to hear a lecture? I mean, I feel like everyone wants to hear Hadley Wickham lecture maybe, but and maybe he's everyone's first choice, I don't know. But are there other names, and I know Gwen was talking about Robert Gentleman. He's very interesting and has a long history with R, right? But who would you want to hear that maybe we should reach out to? And feel free to just unmute yourself, put it in the chat, anything like that. And I'll stop the share so it's easier for me to chat too. Oh, wow. Yeah, Julia Silga. I I haven't met her, but I think she's really cool. I've seen her. I follow her on Twitter. Yeah.
And
Jenny Bryan.
if you have any suggestions about what kind of things you want them to talk about, that would also be good. So Todd, you were nodding immediately. You were really interested in hearing from Hadley. What do you want him to talk about? Like what do you want to hear from him?
Oh, that's easy.
What do you want him to?
Anything. Anything he wants to talk about is absolutely fine by me.
Okay, okay.
Fair enough. Okay. I mean, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes, Todd. So I'm writing it
But
down.
actually, I mean, I say that jokingly, but there is some serious aspect to that. If Hadley is working on something, I'm sure we would love to hear from him on anything that he's working on, as well as inspirational aspects, as well as, I mean, like everybody was posting in the Menti, any of those topics he could talk about.
Yeah.
Would be
But
insanely
Hadley,
valuable.
the last talk I went to that Hadley gave was at the University of Virginia, and he was talking about, I'm trying to remember the name of the package. I don't remember it, but it was one that where you could use Tidyverse to convert to data table coding. So that's kind of his new package that I have no experience in. So but anyway, that was what he was talking about last.
Yeah. I think that one's called DTPlyR, but I've heard of it, but I haven't used it. It looks cool. I haven't. Yeah. Oh yeah, Rafa. Yeah.
I really like this one, the future of R, and if there are any plans to bring some consistency among our developers. I thought that was obviously you're doing plenty of coding in R. So I'll just speak briefly to that. And you know, I don't think I'm an R expert at all whatsoever, but that's one of the things. I mean, the Tidyverse packages are kind of all consistent and they all have like a similar language and so on and so forth. But, you know, and I've heard, actually was in a conversation with JJ, and he was saying they were calling it a DSL, domain specific language. But anyway, I don't think there ever will be consistency among all our packages. I just don't think that they'll ever do that. And I'm so sorry. I know it's a pain. And go ahead, Kristen, you wanted to say something.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, that's not to say that you can't develop that consistency in like your research group, like with your teammates. And there's a lot of really good like R style guides out there. I'm thinking of like Airbnb has one, Google has one, and just it sounds like a really small thing, but just to be on the same style guide with your coworkers can be really good in terms of eliminating. I mean, people were asking before, like how to choose the right direction to go. If there's a lot of different ways to write the same thing, but the style guide enforces one way, that's just a choice you don't have to make. And then you don't have to question like why your coworkers are making weird choices about formatting their code or anything like that. It's just the style guide that everybody agreed on. So we can kind of, if we wanted to talk about consistency or like how to make your code more easily interoperable with other people's work, like that's something we could work on. It's just, I think as Gwen was alluding to, it needs the buy-in of the other people too. Like you can't, we'll never reach consistency across like all the R users.
I was just gonna say that there's a great, so Charlotte Wickham took over the Our Lady Rotate Cure channel Twitter feed, like I don't even know when it was, a couple, but she talked about opening a package for the first time that she'd never dealt with. And it was really an interesting thread for me. So the first thing she did when she opened the package was run some of the examples. And that's why, you know, if it's a good R package, there should be a lot of documentation to you know, to support you in that. I don't know if that's helpful at all.
Yeah. That's really cool. Thank you everyone for sharing the suggested, you know, lecturers that we could reach out to. Hopefully some of them are willing candidates. I think it would be so cool for us to have a lecture series. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. I guess, yeah, if anybody wants to introduce themselves, I know we had a little time before, but please feel free to do so now. Tell us about any like R projects you're working on, anything you're trying to learn about. Yeah, I mean, we just want to have a little bit of group discussion time so we can get to know each other.
Okay, I
All
guess
right.
I can
Oh,
start.
yeah. Yeah.
My name is Murtaza. I am a PhD student at UMass Lowell at the business school, and I use R for mostly data mining, data wrangling, visualization, and machine learning. And I mostly work with business analytics problems and some theoretical machine learning stuff. So if anyone's interested in that sort of stuff, we could talk.
Yeah, there were a few people that mentioned machine learning, and also like I think business on the Menti. So that's seems like we should have a few people to group together.
Someone suggested that we do breakout rooms. Kristen, you want to do breakout rooms?
Can I get, everyone seems to approve. Do we want to do breakout rooms? Yeah, we do. Okay, we'll do breakout rooms. Um, let me figure out how to do that. Okay, create, we're a pretty big group. How many do you think? 6? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, assign automatically, create, let's go. Okay. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
All good. Excited to be here.
Oh, good.
I'm dialing in from Dubai. It's almost 1:42 a.m., so I'm a bit sleepy, but
Oh
I'm
my
loving
gosh.
the energy in the room.
Yeah, I'm so thrilled with how many people have shown up. Thank you for making it. I mean, 1 a.m. in Dubai we had someone that couldn't make it because it was 10 p.m. in London, and I kind of was like, 10 p.m.
Well, it's almost 2 a.m., so they have no excuse to not be here.
Yeah, no, I'll let them know. Um, okay, yeah, nice to meet everyone. Do you want to tell? I feel like I told you a bit about myself, so I need to hear about you guys.
I
Okay,
can continue if
okay,
it
please.
helps. Yeah, besides being sleepy and tired right now, no, I'm thrilled to be here. I'm currently studying at Harvard as part of the Harvard Business Analytics program. So this is kind of like my warm-up session for R because next semester is about foundations of quantitative analysis, which is going to use statistics in R and RStudio. And
Yeah.
I've only been hearing things about R, and I thought this could be a nice intro
Right.
session for me. And also now that I'm hearing about the groups and the communities within the R world, I'm so surprised and thrilled
Right.
because I'm going to need all the support and help in the coming weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we really don't want like it's just less fun to learn it by yourself. It's just much more fun to learn it when you have someone that you can like go bother and like, hey, I don't know why this doesn't work, and they can show you, or just, hey, how would you do this? And they can show you, like all of that collaborative environment is just so much better than trying to figure it out by yourself. Like that's always kind of slow and tedious. What about you other guys? How are you doing?
Good. So maybe I can go next. You guys here see me. I'm looking for my phone with my baby around me. So I am Priyanka. I come in. I am not a Harvard affiliate, but I'm a heavy R user, and I have been lucky to have found the R community a couple of years ago. So I guess So I'm from Boston. Well, yeah, I'm local to Howard. So how it feels like this, I mean, I think one of the reasons I got so excited about, finding out about Rug at HDSI was I got so excited and it feels like home to me. So I'm active member at Boston User Group. Gwen was talking about Rachel Dempsey. So yeah, she's on my LinkedIn and we, chat very frequently. I've also like one meetup to another, I found so many more people within the community. There is an online Our Ladies community, there's a 4DS community. So I feel so much better, from, learning R first at the first time when I had only one colleague who started using R before me. And I was like, it was so embarrassing when, my code would not run and it was base R at that time.
Right.
I was like, why should I go to a package? Why if you can do things like an aggregate and R, and I would never remember the syntax. I would every time have to go back and Google the code, and I used to feel so embarrassing, like I don't know anything, I cannot do it. But yeah, now I've understood eventually that Google is your best friend. Stack Overflow, like always just Google for your error, Google how to do, and that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Hopefully,
at this moment, I work as a senior business analyst or data analyst at a company called Lose It. It's a health and wellness app, or rather, it's an app that helps people lose weight. So yeah, that's about me.
that's great. I hope we can be one of your really good friends like Google and Stack Overflow. Like, I hope that we can like slide
Yeah.
in there. Um, that's great. That's really cool. If you guys want to talk, feel free to. I mean, I don't want to like make anybody do anything.
Hello everyone.
Hi.
Um, I am Temitope Agidi um, from um, from the UK currently, Kent area. And then I'm actually studying statistical data science at the University of Kent. And
Yeah.
it's around maybe like 11 p.m. as
Yeah.
you can see right now.
Wow.
And and it's fantastic. And we've been making use of how to do a couple of statistical modeling, applying R to the use of different modeling techniques. You know what I mean? And as well like optimizations and making use of R for like dimensionality reductions and making use of R as well for like regression analysis. So
Yeah.
it's been fantastic, and it's a very fantastic statistical package. As far as I know,
That's awesome.
yeah, with different packages to apply with for different applications. So it seems. Oh, I'm not sure you can hear me. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's a very fantastic package, as far as I know, and basically it has a lot of helpful packages as well, and then it has a great community where you can actually reach out to sources on the internet to get some kind of help as well. So far I can say in conclusion, it's R is a very fantastic package for statistical analysis. And I'm actually glad to be here as well to meet other users. To be very honest, I'm kind of overwhelmed with joy to actually, meet with others as well from different kinds of countries. You know what I mean? So it's a pleasure. It's a great pleasure to be here to meet you guys.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, and I hope we could be working together maybe whenever we have projects. All right, that's all for now. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna set the breakout rooms to close in another minute. But if Jean and Faith, do you wanna introduce yourself?
Just a quick little my background is not nearly as in depth. I recently graduated from Tufts University.
Oh,
Um,
I graduated from there in 2017.
oh, cool.
Yeah,
When you said?
2017. I have a
Nice.
degree in math from Tufts.
Oh, oh man, we might have like even seen each other and never even known it. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I graduated from the School of Engineering with under the Civil Engineering Department, and I took like one class in statistics and probability for engineering, and we used R. And I recently have been wanting to get more into doing statistical analysis and programming,
Yeah.
but I didn't use R that much in the class. I took it over the summer, and so now I'm kind of trying to go back and learn it a little bit more, but we'll
Yeah.
see how it goes. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna close the breakout rooms. It was so nice meeting all of you. I'll see you in the other room.
Likewise, thank you.
Oh, you're muted. I don't know if you're saying anything.
Thank you. That's funny. No, I was saying like it's just us, but then I double checked, and yes, all the breakout rooms will end in now 17 seconds. But for a second, I was like, where is everybody? Like, did I do it wrong? Did I close just our breakout room somehow? I didn't know that was an option. But okay, they should all have to come back in like a few seconds. There they are. Hi, everybody.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome back. Okay, so we do have a few more slides for you. We'll try to be a little quick because I realize we're coming up towards the end of the hour. So we did the group discussion time, and now we wanted to have a little bit of a short, just fun talk on things that you didn't know you can do in R, but you can. And I'm going to cover the kind of like, I don't want to say boring, but a lot of people know about them concepts first, but they are super, super applicable, useful, and I mean, they've practically changed the world. And so I just want to talk a little bit about R Markdown, Shiny, and then database interactivity in R. So if you're not familiar, R Markdown is a package in R that allows you to create documents, presentations, reports, and even websites that make use of data visualizations or interactive widgets. And they're really being used all over the place to create reproducible data analytic workflows, reports, and they really make the job of creating like a data-driven report so much easier. And so if you learn R and you want to create like data-driven reports, R Markdown is like a really great tool for you. And one of the best things about it is that it outputs to a huge number of different formats. And so if you're trying to make like something to send somebody, you can make it as a PDF document, a Word document, an HTML document, like a PowerPoint. You can make all sorts of different, I mean, that's not even like a fraction of the things that R Markdown outputs. And it's just really extensible. You can do all sorts of things in R Markdown, and it's just great for formatting data. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about Shiny. Shiny is a web framework in R that allows our users to really quickly build web applications that are powered with data. And so it allows you to create not just data visualizations, but truly interactive data visualizations. And Moreover, it doesn't actually require any knowledge of web programming. So you don't need to know HTML, CSS, or JavaScript to get started with Shiny. It's useful like later on down the line if you get really advanced with Shiny, for sure, but you don't need to know anything about web programming to get started with Shiny or to even deploy web applications to, there are services like shinyapps.io that will allow you to deploy your web applications. And like the image is showing, like you can integrate really complicated graphics like this is an embedded map, and then in the right hand side you can see like the different little plots that it's creating, and you have those like drop downs, and if you want to create something like this, Shiny will really make it a lot easier. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, this is probably less in that like everybody knows about it category, but I think people that work with R should know about the fact that you can just connect RStudio to a remote database. And that really powers some amazing kinds of computational workflows, because if you're working with large data, at a certain point, it makes more sense not only for that data to be in a database, but also maybe like some kind of cloud architecture, like some kind of distributed database. And with things like dbplyr, the database backend for dplyr, which is the data manipulation, one of the data manipulation packages in the tidyverse, it just makes it really easy to work with your data in the cloud, but with your console in R on your computer, not having to really do anything special to connect to that data in the cloud environment. And I think that's a really cool opportunity, and I myself would love to learn more about it, use it more, and maybe we could have a workshop on it or something like that. Anyway, I'll turn it over to, I think, Nicole now.
Hi everyone. I hope that everyone enjoyed their breakout groups. I'm going to talk a little bit first about the couple of things that you can do in R that I'm really excited about. The first of which I haven't had a chance to use yet, but that's like push messaging. And so you can actually write commands in your code that will send messages to your tablet or your computer or your phone that will send to you when a certain condition is met. And so for me, I do a lot of computing on the cluster. And so like, I'm really excited because those can take between like 6 hours and 36 hours. And I'm one of those people that can't just like leave it alone. So I'm logging in every hour to check how it's doing. But instead, I'm gonna like put these little prompts in that when my simulation is done, I'll just get a message on my phone and I can go check it. Or you can use it for detecting errors. So like doing tests, like try this, and like if it fails, then get a message on your phone that like those simulations that you thought you started that take a week to run, like you don't check them a week later and find out that they never started. So I'm really excited about that, and I think it'll be really useful moving forward. The second thing is infographics. And I know Christian talked a little bit about how R Markdown is a great tool for visualization in R. But one thing that I think I haven't been able to get out of R Markdown is sort of an idea of graphic design and being a little more stylistic, which might just be my own limitation. But one thing that I was able to do this past year with working in a COVID working group was we wanted to have a easily distributable and generatable infographic from the model that we were building. And so most of the time when I build an infographic, I make all my plots in R and I'm copying and pasting them into either Word or PowerPoint and then doing some sort of formatting there to make it a little bit prettier. But when you're working on a model that can change like by the hour or definitely daily, having to copy and paste those plots all the time can get really tedious. And so I was able to do some research and found out that using just ggplot and like the grid package, you can make these really easy, reproducible, like stylized infographics for distribution. And so as our model changed, I would just, rerun my script and it would automatically update all the plots that were being generated from that data. So it saved a ton of time. And I'm just really excited to find new applications for that and be able to use a font that's not Impact, which this has. And it's not my favorite font, but that I got outvoted there. But I think it's really exciting to see an easy way to distribute the knowledge that we get from our analytics in a way that people might find more aesthetically pleasing. And we switch to my next slide. And then speaking of aesthetics, I think one of the really fun things in R is that I think since the community is so diverse, people are often customizing what you can do in R to what their specific niche interest is. And so I've just pulled out a few of my favorite examples here. And so I'm a big Wes Anderson fan, and there's a whole suite of Wes Anderson themed palettes for ggplot. And I've just thrown one from the Royal Tenenbaums up there. And then another really fun thing that some people have worked on is customizing like plot icons. And so there's a package called Catterplots on the far left, where you can use different cat images to represent your data. And then just next to that, people were wanting a more interesting way to show standard errors. And so apparently, I haven't seen Star Wars, but apparently there's something in Star Wars like called the TIE, and they kind of look like little plots with
TIE fighters. TIE fighters. Yeah, they're spaceships, but
oh, yeah, I assumed they had something to do with stars in wars. So, you know, spaceship fighters sound right. And then also, you know, Christian mentioned Shiny, and so one thing that exists is this like package to make an like original Nintendo Entertainment System style like CSS framework for your Shiny tools. And I only have a quick screenshot here, but there's a lot of really cool features that you can use. And like Christian said, you don't have to have the knowledge of how to build that website. You can just use this package to format your website like that. And then finally, if you've seen our flyer, we actually made that flyer completely in R using the like infographic method I described above and using the XKCD package. And so it allows you to make anything essentially in ggplot in the style of the XKCD comics. And so essentially, if you have a niche interest and you probably Google it, you can find more. I know Christian sent me a Taylor Swift themed palette, like once he saw my slides, and I didn't have time to add that in here. I know there's Simpsons palettes, things like that. So it's just really fun. I have like used the Wes Anderson palettes in like my like professional work, because I think, you know, that means I have a little piece of me in this like science publication. But essentially, it's, if you like it, someone else does, and there's probably a way to incorporate it into your R workflow. And so I'll pass it on to Gwen now.
Hi, so I'm kind of interested in this, you know, delivering data different ways. And so this is some coding that I wrote, and I'm sorry that it's not, you know, it's the aspect ratio is a little bit off, but it produces, well, it actually doesn't, oh yes, this produces the plot, and then this here produces this, and I'm just going to run that coding, and I'm going to turn up my volume really loud, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it. Oh, turn it back, Christian. Go back.
Sorry.
Go back.
Okay.
Go back.
I'm trying.
Go back.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Here we go. Let's see if it does it. And so it makes this little sound, and of course it's really bad quality sound, right? But anyway, it's, you know, it sounds more like a 1980s video game, but it does do this kind of loopy thing, and it goes, right? And so of course the next thing I wanted to do was, well, that's really fun, but I really want the red line to move at the same speed as the sound. So Kristen, you can go to the next slide now. And so I wrote this coding, which does this. And so here I've done the plot, and here I have transition reveal, which comes from GG Animate. Now I'm just gonna let you know that this coding actually will not run. And the reason it won't run is because library is not a vectorized function, which means you have to put in lattice and ggplot. You have to put library lattice and library ggplot, then library sonify. But I just did it this way because I wanted to fit it, you know, I wanted it to fit on one slide, and having it all that way didn't work. And then here I make the animation. here, over here, I've done the sonification, and this writes the sound to this file named audio. Right here, I update this into a Tibble because I only want the red line to run. I don't want all the plots, all the dots to run, to be animated. And then here I save this as, I save the animation, right? Oh no, here I make the animation, here I save the animation, and then here I put them both together. And now you can go to the next one, Christian, and hopefully this will run.
Okay. Gwen, why don't you try playing yours at the same time as this? Because I hope that they get the audio, but I'm not sure if they will.
They won't get the audio unless you take off your headset. You have to take off your headset and turn up the volume if you want.
Let's see.
Or should we start it at the same time? We can start it. Wait, hold on, because mine gets delayed a second. But anyway, it does animate and sonify, and we will send you the link.
I tried finding that setting in Zoom for like forwarding my computer's audio, but I couldn't find it.
Okay. Should we try together? 1, 2, 3. So anyway, that's kind of what it does. And I thought that was really fun. So anyway, and I've called it a sonimation, which of course is a portmanteau, which is you know, what we do a lot in R is portmanteaus of several different words, schmucking them together.
All right. I think we're done. Thank you everyone for coming. It was so nice to meet all of you. If you haven't taken the survey, please take the survey. That way we can get your email address and stay in contact. We'll let you know what we next organize. Thank you for all of your input, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone.
You're welcome. No problem.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hope you get some rest, Shivani.
Bye. Good to meet everyone.
Yeah. Nice to meet
Bye.
you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're
Thank you.
welcome.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
What I was just saying was Shivani said she was in from 2 a.m. in Dubai.
Oh, I know. Someone said they were in Dubai. I should have I meant to
really?
acknowledge that, but I didn't. So I feel a little bad, but anyway.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. I'll remove these people from the.
And you can stop recording.
Yeah.